What does Andrew Ryan actually believe at the end? A Russian immigrant who built Rapture to escape collectivism. He dies in 1960 with a single fractured plea, asterisk would you kindly, asterisk not a surrender but a mirror held to his own creed. Objectivism promised purity, yet its God kneels to a stranger's button press. What system crumbles under the weight of its founder's final words? The truth is in the tremor. Even a God of reason cannot escape the chains he swore to burn. The lighthouse's flame dies with Ryan's scream-a-loop unbroken. The man who carved Rapture from salt water now claws at the chains of his own design. Would you kindly is no plea, it is a mirror. A God who worships reason cannot beg. His final gasp fractures the myth. Free will drowns in the weight of its own delusion. The city's bones echo his truth might does not make right, it consumes. The lighthouse, the man, the ruin, three acts of the same tragedy. What is a temple built on is a crumble too, a whisper, a confession, a kind of mercy. Rapture's chandeliers dimmed in 1946, a city of steel and salt water sealed against the world. By 1953, plasmids turned ambition into alchemy, wealth pooled, power crystallized. Then 1958 Atlas Rebellion fractured the spire. Fontaine's machines drowned the streets. Ryan watched his cathedral bleed. His final gasp, asterisk would you kindly, asterisk not a plea, a cipher. For 43 years he carved Aiza into concrete and corpses, yet the algorithm failed, the market priced souls. The strong devoured their own. What does a God of reason say when his equations collapse? Not I was wrong, asterisk kindly, asterisk a relic of the lies that built him. The man who promised no kings, no masters, no mercy, his last word was a debt collector's tag. A signature on the death warrant of objectivism. Rapture's corpse still hums beneath the waves. A monument to the arithmetic of hell. The audio diary crackles, a voice, steady as a scalpel, vows Rapture will never bend, yet the final recording fractures. A gasp, a choke, asterisk would you kindly, asterisk not a plea, a mirror held to the lie. Ryan's plasmids were not miracles. They were transactions, atom the currency of transcendence, siphoned from children, each vial a ledger entry. Each superpower a receipt for exploitation. He called it innovation, it was extraction. The city's veins pulsed with synthetic ambition. Neon signs bleached the darkness. Fishermen reeled in not nets but futures. Ryan's objectivism wore a lab coat, asterisk self-interest is sacred, asterisk yet the market demanded sacrifice, little sisters, their bodies vaults. Their screams dividends, the vigor sold in tins, not liberation, a debt with interest, every leap of faith a chain. Every breath a toll, his last moments were a paradox. The man who rejected charity out to a system he could not control, the kindly was no betrayal. It was the algorithm's verdict, a self-made God undone by his own math. The plasmids, once proof of mastery, became the reckoning. They did not elevate, they unravel, flesh stretched thin. Minds shattered under the weight of asterisk more asterisk. Ryan's creed had no room for consequence. Until consequence arrived, wearing the face of a little girl, Rapture's corpse still hums. A cathedral to the delusion that freedom needs no checks, that progress can be pirated from the vulnerable. The diary's truth is etched in the ruins. Objectivism's flaw was not its logic, its arithmetic. It added but forgot to subtract the cost of its own soul. Ryan's final gasp was not defeat. It was the sum, a number that could not be drowned. The buried log hums a dirge. Ryan's voice cracks, asterisk I built a city on the premise that men are not to be trusted with power. And I was right, asterisk not defiance, a dirge. The objectivist utopia he carved into the abyss became its own predator. He who worshipped reason became a god consumed by his own dogma. His would you kindly was no plea, it was a confession. A man who traded free will for control could not escape the chains he forged. The audio diaries whisper the unspoken truth. Rapture's collapse was not a failure of system, but of soul. Ryan's final scream was not asterisk might makes right asterisk, it was asterisk I made a god, and it ate me asterisk. The graffiti scrawled in the ruins echoes this, asterisk even gods need masters. Asterisk free will, the game's silent antagonist, proved that no ideology can cage the human spirit without becoming the cage. Ryan's horror was not collectivism's victory. It was the moment his philosophy turned on him, fangs bared. The sum that could not be drowned. A man who built a city on distrust, only to find the mirror staring back was himself. His last words were not a surrender, they were an epitaph, for the creed that promised freedom and delivered a tomb. The lighthouse's beam cuts through Rapture's black waters, a cyclical symbol now choked by rust. Sophia Lamb's spire of glass and steel rises in the distance, her collectivism a mirror to Ryan's ruin, both cities. Both tombs, both built on the same delusion, that man could be shaped to fit an idea. Ryan's final scream would you kindly, was not a betrayal, it was a confession. A man who worshipped self became a puppet to the self he claimed to honor. The air in Rapture reeks of salt and decay. Flickering lights cast shadows of Atlas war against his creator. Sophia's sermons echo through shattered halls, the many are the measure of the one. Ryan's answer, carved into his lighthouse, was a man's mind is his own kingdom. Yet here they kingdom and collectivism both collapsed under the weight of their own lies. The cold seeps into bone, the water rises. And in the silence between heartbeats, the truth hums, neither system accounted for the chaos of the soul. Could any ideology, however pure in theory, survive the storm of human want? Ryan's objectivism demanded strength, yet strength without mercy is a sword turned inward. Sophia's common good demanded sacrifice, yet sacrifice without choice is a chain. Both paths end in the same dark, a void where morality was never truly considered. The lighthouse crumbles, the spire cracks. The sea claims them both. Andrew Ryan's last words were not a surrender, they were a key. Turned in the lock of a tomb that had already begun to rot, the cycle is complete, the lighthouse, the man. The city all erased. Yet the question remains, if even the architect of Rapture could not escape his own design, what godless creed could ever hope to rule the infinite? Ryan's final words were not a chain, they were a mirror, shattered. He did not beg for mercy, unmasked the lie. The man who declared no gods or kings spent his last breath screaming the truth. Even the architect is bound by the walls he builds. Free will, the sacred idol of Rapture, crumbled not under collectivism's boot, but under objectivism's own weight. A system that worships the self cannot tolerate the self's fragility. Ryan chose to comply, not because he was broken. Because he knew every law, every contract, every Ayn Randian utopia was a cage from the start. The irony is not that he was controlled, it is that he embraced the control. A godless creed demands absolute faith. And when the pillars cracked, the prophet did not rebel. He whispered, would you kindly, what kind of ideology reduces a god to a beggar? What kind of man becomes both executioner and victim in the same breath? The answer lies in the bloodstained halls of Rapture, a warning carved in ash. The audio diaries still hum in the drowned corridors of Rapture. Faint, distorted voices whisper of utopia curdled to rot. A generator's groan fills the silence between them. Andrew Ryan stands at the lighthouse's base, his shadow stretched by a flickering bulb. The water outside his walls churns black and restless. He did not build this prison for others. He built it for himself. The final entry plays, his laugh brittle as the glass around him. Would you kindly? 3 words that collapse a lifetime of absolutism. The lighthouse's light dies. Its beam, once a symbol of reason unshackled, now mirrors the hollow in his skull. The city's bones crumble above him. Spires that once pierced the sea now sag like broken spines. Ryan's fingers trace the walls he carved from salt and hubris. Every law he wrote, every soul he discarded, circles back to this moment. The would you kindly is no plea. It is an autopsy. He knew the system would devour its architect. Objectivism's flaw was not its logic. It was its faith in logic. A godless gospel cannot name its own sins. The water rises. Bubbles cling to his boots. Rapture's end is not an exception, it is a theorem. The lighthouse, the man, the city all repeat the same equation. A new Andrew will build a new Rapture. The sea will swallow them all, the diary's static fades, only the dark remains. And in it the truth, no ideology escapes the weight of its own shadow. The lighthouse's beam stutters, its light, once a blade of certainty, now flickers like a dying star. Andrew Ryan's final words hang in the salt-trodden air. Asterisk, would you kindly? Asterisk, a whisper frayed by the generator's death rattle, not a plea. A reckoning, the lighthouse, the man, the city, 3 acts of the same hubristic play. Each built to illuminate, to dominate, to asterisk endure asterisk. Each crumbling now, layer by layer, as the sea gnaws at their foundations. Rapture's marble halls, once aglow with the fire of man's glory, are now submerged in filth and static. The Atlas statue, faceless and broken, stares into the abyss it helped create. Ryan's diaries, those brittle pages of unyielding doctrine, dissolve in the humidity. What is might makes right but a house of cards. A system that cannot asterisk tolerate asterisk its own contradictions, so it devours them. The moral bankruptcy isn't accidental, it is the engine. To reject all compromise is to reject all balance. To balance a scale, one must first admit it exists. Ryan's voice, recorded in the lighthouse's belly, repeats its hollow mantra. Asterisk, I am the last son of the American dream. Asterisk, but the dream was a lie. A mirror, his final words are not surrender thee, are the mirror shattering. Would you kindly is the crack in the code. A self-aware collapse. A man who built a city on the premise that asterisk no one owes anyone asterisk ends by begging for help. The irony is not incidental, it is the asterisk point asterisk. The generator fails, the lighthouse dies, the city drowns. And in the dark, the truth pools like oil. Objectivism was never about power. It was about asterisk proof asterisk. A philosophy that needed to fail to finally be asterisk true asterisk. A God who needed to die to become divine. The sea claims the last light, silence, then the whisper of waves carrying the weight of every choice that led here. Every choice that will lead here again. The last light fades, waves whisper, but no mercy comes. Andrew Ryan bleeds in his palace, a God unmasked. Would you kindly, not a plea, a mirror held to the lie. A man who worshipped self became a God who begat monsters. His creed demanded surrender to the individuality, what thrives in Rapture's ruins, the individual devoured by the void he carved. Would you kindly, the words choke on his tongue, a confession too late, what dies with Rapture, not a man. An idea that feared its own reflection. Can a philosophy that abolishes morality survive when its architect crumbles? The sea swallows his name, the sea swallows his truth. Test your understanding next. The last light fades, waves whisper, but no mercy comes. Andrew Ryan bleeds in his palace, a God unmasked. Asterisk, would you kindly, asterisk, not a plea, a mirror held to the lie. A man who worshipped self became a God who begat monsters. His creed demanded surrender to the individuality, what thrives in Rapture's ruins. The individual devoured by the void he carved. Asterisk, would you kindly, asterisk, the words choke on his tongue, a confession too late. What dies with Rapture, not a man, an idea that feared its own reflection. Can a philosophy that abolishes morality survive when its